Sell these 5 things before you retire. If you are currently preparing for retirement, or if you have already embarked on this exciting new chapter of your life, thoughtfully considering the sale of certain possessions can profoundly enhance your retirement experience. This strategic decluttering can significantly boost your peace of mind and infuse you with greater confidence as you transition into this next, often long-anticipated stage of life. This perspective on retirement might differ from much of the advice you've encountered elsewhere, as most discussions typically center on what assets to acquire or how much wealth to accumulate. However, after dedicating 16 years to guiding countless individuals through their retirement planning, I've come to understand a fundamental secret. True retirement success isn't solely about accumulating more. Instead, it's often about the strategic, timely, and intentional release of the right things. Over these 16 years, I've observed that retirees generally fall into one of 2 categories. The first group comprises those who find themselves asking crucial questions. Am I truly ready to retire? And do I genuinely have enough financial security to make this leap? If these questions resonate with you, this video is designed to provide clarity and bolster your confidence, offering insights that can ease those lingering uncertainties. The second group consists of individuals who confidently declare, I know I'm ready for retirement. It's finally time to seize these go-go years and begin pursuing all those passions and activities I've had to postpone. If you belong to this enthusiastic group, then the strategies shared here will help you maximize this vibrant period of your life to its absolute fullest, ensuring you make the most of every precious moment. I will begin by discussing the item that typically creates the most substantial financial impact for our clients. Following that, I'll present a simple yet powerful 3-step framework at the end of this discussion. This framework will empower you to confidently assess whether selling or retaining certain possessions is the right decision for your unique retirement journey. 1. Your oversized family home. The first and most common item our clients choose to sell, either just before or early in their retirement, is often something that has already crossed your mind: their oversized house. It's important to remember that this wasn't always an oversized house. For many years, it was likely the perfect size, a bustling hub for a family of 3, 4, or even 5 children. It was filled with laughter, memories, and the daily rhythm of family life. But now, the children have grown, ventured out, and established their own independent lives, leaving behind empty bedrooms and quiet hallways. Consider one of my clients, a wonderful couple who had raised 5 children in their spacious home. All their children were now thriving adults living independently. Despite the quiet, my clients deeply cherished their home and, more specifically, its location. They loved being within walking distance of their charming small-town downtown area and having a beautiful local park just a stone's throw away. However, one significant aspect they no longer enjoyed was the harsh, cold Illinois winters. They had always harbored dreams of becoming snowbirds, escaping to warmer climates during the colder months. Their solution was brilliant and life-changing. They decided to sell their large multi-bedroom house. Using a portion of the equity they had built over decades, they purchased a much smaller, more manageable condo in the exact same beloved location where they lived previously. This condo served as their summer base, allowing them to remain connected to their community, friends, and local amenities during the pleasant months. For the rest of the year, they joyfully resided in a warmer climate, completely escaping the winter chill. This decision was one they never regretted. Financially, it was a massive boon. They freed up a substantial $200,000 in equity and significantly reduced their annual household expenses by an impressive $15,000. Primarily in maintenance costs and utility bills. Beyond the financial gains, they gained incredible freedom to choose where and how they lived throughout the year. Most importantly, they transitioned from being weary house managers, constantly dealing with upkeep and repairs, to becoming vibrant life managers, free to pursue their passions and enjoy their precious time. 2. Financially supporting adult children at your own expense. The second most impactful area, and one that resonates deeply with many retirees, touches upon a more sensitive subject. This particular piece of advice might feel a little uncomfortable for some, as it's not about selling a tangible item, but rather about rethinking a deeply ingrained behavior. Financially supporting your adult children at the potential expense of your own retirement security. This is undeniably the most challenging suggestion to consider, as it often goes directly against our natural, powerful parental instincts to nurture and protect our offspring. However, let's consider a crucial reality. If you are around 60 years old, you likely have fewer than 1,000 weeks of healthy, active, and independent time remaining in your life. This is a finite and precious resource. Your adult children, on the other hand, typically have decades ahead of them. They have ample time to build their own wealth, to recover from financial missteps, to learn from mistakes, and to cultivate their own robust security. I once worked with clients who, out of love and a desire to help, delayed their own retirement by 3 precious years so they could assist their daughter in purchasing a house. While their intentions were noble and commendable, those were 3 prime years of their retirement dreams, years they can never reclaim. Meanwhile, their daughter could have pursued a conventional mortgage, gradually built equity over time, and in the process, developed a deeper understanding of financial responsibility and self-reliance. The truth is, while your children have access to various loans for homes, cars, or education, there are virtually no loans available for retirement. Of course, if you are in a secure financial position and can genuinely afford to assist your children without jeopardizing your own future, then by all means do so, provided it doesn't inadvertently hinder their own growth and independence. The key message here is not to sacrifice your limited remaining years, your peace of mind, or your hard-earned financial security for problems that your adult children are perfectly capable of learning to solve for themselves. Empowering them to navigate their own financial journey often benefits them more in the long run. 3. Expensive toys that have become burdens. The third category of things we frequently see retirees choose to let go of involves expensive toys that over time have transformed from sources of joy into costly burdens. I'm referring to items like luxury boats, large recreational vehicles, RVs, or cherished classic cars. These are often purchases made during working years, representing dreams, hobbies, or status. Let me share the story of my client, Tom. Throughout his career, Tom's passion was meticulously restoring classic cars. Over 2 decades, he had built an impressive collection of 5 absolutely beautiful vehicles, each one restored to immaculate perfection. Tom truly adored these cars. They were tangible representations of countless weekends spent in the garage, late nights under the hood, and the immense satisfaction of bringing something beautiful back to life with his own hands. They were more than just cars, they were a part of his identity. However, as Tom approached retirement, a less glamorous reality began to set in. These 5 magnificent cars were costing him approximately $8,000 per year just in storage fees. Add to that the costs of insurance, occasional maintenance, and annual registration, and his total annual expense for owning these vehicles soared to over $12,000. The irony was, he drove them at most only about 6 times a year. The rest of the time, they sat idle in storage. When Tom and his wife sat down to evaluate their retirement budget, she gently but firmly pointed out the stark financial reality. "Honey," she observed, "it seems we're effectively spending about $2,000 every single time you take one of these cars for a drive." Tom's initial reaction was swift and unequivocal. "Absolutely not. I'm not selling these cars. These aren't just cars. They're my life's work." I understood his sentiment perfectly. For Tom, these vehicles were indeed more than mere transportation. They were a tangible expression of his craftsmanship, his dedication, and a significant piece of his personal history. Yet, over the next year, something interesting began to happen. Tom found himself visiting the storage unit less and less frequently. The cars, despite their beauty, remained largely unused. Meanwhile, that $12,000 annual expense continued to chip away at their carefully planned retirement budget. After about 12 months, Tom had a profound realization. He was holding on to these cars not for who he was in retirement, but for who he used to be. He was clinging more to the memory and satisfaction of restoring them than he was actually enjoying them in his current life. With this newfound clarity, Tom made a thoughtful decision. He decided to keep his absolute favorite car, the very first one he had ever restored. This particular vehicle held the most sentimental value and was, coincidentally, the one he genuinely enjoyed driving the most when he did choose to take a car out. The other four he meticulously sold to appreciative collectors who would undoubtedly drive and cherish them even more than he currently could. The results were remarkable. Tom immediately cut his annual expenses by a significant $9,000, and he freed up a substantial $180,000 in capital. Moreover, he eliminated the ongoing stress and effort associated with maintaining vehicles he rarely used. The best part? He still had his beloved classic for weekend drives and car shows, enjoying the pure joy of his passion without the accompanying burden. He had successfully transformed from a car collector burdened by his collection back into a joyful car enthusiast. The fundamental lesson here isn't that you should liquidate everything you love. Far from it. Rather, it's that sometimes trying to keep everything can ironically prevent you from truly enjoying anything. Tom's journey beautifully illustrates how strategically letting go of some things can actually amplify our appreciation for what we choose to retain. If you're finding this advice helpful so far, please consider clicking the like button to let me know. Or if you have a personal example of something you freed up, either sold a possession or simply cleared mental space that significantly improved your retirement, please share it in the comments below. Your insights could be incredibly valuable to other readers. 4. The second car. The next item to consider letting go of is also related to vehicles. The second car. If you are married and have 2 cars, once you're no longer commuting to work every day in retirement, do you genuinely need multiple vehicles sitting in your garage? These extra cars continue to depreciate in value, incur insurance premiums, require registration renewals, and demand ongoing maintenance. These are recurring costs that add up over time. I know a couple who faced this exact dilemma. They decided to conduct a practical experiment. First, they meticulously calculated the true annual cost of owning their second car, factoring in insurance, maintenance, and registration. For their specific vehicle, this amounted to roughly $3,000 per year. To test the waters before making a permanent decision, they pretended they only had 1 car for a 2-month period. The short version of their story: it was far easier and more manageable than they had anticipated. They ultimately sold their second vehicle. Now, they have those extra funds available to pursue their travel dreams, rather than pouring money into the upkeep of an underutilized car. Before I reveal the final item on our list, I want to reiterate that I'll be sharing a 3-step framework shortly. This framework, composed of just 3 key questions and a few crucial considerations, will help you evaluate whether selling or stopping something is truly the best course of action for your retirement life. 5. Your work identity and need for professional validation. This next item is arguably the most challenging to let go of, and it's certainly not something you can sell on eBay. It is your work identity, or perhaps your deep-seated need for professional validation in retirement. I had a client, let's call him Michael, who had been a highly successful surgeon for 30 years. When he finally retired, he was financially well prepared for the transition. However, just 6 months into retirement, he confessed, "I used to be Dr. Michael Miller. Now in retirement, I'm just Michael Miller." He profoundly missed that doctor piece of his identity, the recognition, the purpose, the sense of contributing at a high level. To fill this void, he started volunteering at a free clinic, driven primarily by that lingering need to feel like Dr. Michael again. He was inadvertently clinging to his old professional identity instead of embracing and discovering the new person he could become in retirement. The real breakthrough came when Michael stopped trying to replicate Dr. Michael in retirement and instead began to genuinely explore what simply being Michael meant and who he could evolve into. He rediscovered long-dormant hobbies like woodworking, which brought him immense satisfaction. He also found immense joy in mentoring young, aspiring doctors, sharing his vast experience in a new, less formal capacity. And perhaps most importantly, he fully stepped into the identity of Grandpa Michael, engaging with his grandchildren in ways he never could when he was working 50 or 60 hours a week. Here's the profound truth: your job title was never truly who you were. It was simply what you did. The most successful and fulfilled retirees are not those who attempt to rigidly recreate their work identity in retirement. Instead, they skillfully use retirement as an opportunity to unearth and rediscover parts of themselves that may have been buried for decades under the weight of professional responsibilities. You simply cannot fully discover your authentic, new identity while simultaneously clinging tightly to your old one. This is precisely why letting go of your work identity or your need for external professional validation might just be the single most crucial thing you can sell or release in your retirement journey. It frees up space for your true self to emerge. A 3-step framework for making retirement decisions. Now, let's dive into that 3-step framework I promised, designed to help you thoughtfully decide what you should sell or what you should simply let go of in your retirement life. It's built around 3 core questions that guide you to deeper understanding. Question 1: does this still serve my new life, or does it serve my old life? This question gets right to the heart of identity transition during retirement. Take a moment to genuinely ask yourself, was this item or activity primarily important because of who I was during my working life, or does it align with who I am actively becoming in retirement? Will I realistically and meaningfully use this in the lifestyle I genuinely desire to live now? Am I keeping this out of sheer habit, or because it genuinely adds tangible, meaningful value to my new retirement reality? This helps differentiate between sentimentality linked to a past identity and genuine utility or joy in your present and future. Question 2: what is this really costing me, and what is its true worth? Beyond the surface price, consider the total cost of ownership in its broadest sense. Direct financial costs. Think about explicit expenses like insurance premiums, ongoing maintenance, storage fees, utility bills for a large house or second home, or property taxes. Don't underestimate these recurring charges. Opportunity costs. What else could the money tied up in this item or activity do for your retirement goals? Could it fund a dream trip, cover unexpected medical expenses, or simply provide more financial flexibility? Energy costs. How much of your precious time, mental bandwidth, and physical energy does this item or commitment demand? Does it cause stress or require constant attention? Space costs. Is this preventing you from living in the kind of home or in the manner you truly wish to live? Does it clutter your physical or mental space? Question 3: if I let this go, what new possibilities emerge? This shifts your perspective from scarcity thinking to one of abundance and opportunity. What new experiences could be freed up with the funds or time previously tied to this item? What stress, worry, or daily burdens could be completely eliminated from your life? What new opportunities, hobbies, relationships, or personal growth paths could open up for you? How would simplifying this particular area of your life genuinely feel? Imagine the lightness, the freedom, the clarity. Practical tip: the 90-day test. Here's a highly practical and effective tip, similar to the experiment that couple did with their second car. Before making any permanent decisions or committing to selling something, try living as if you've already done it. Implement a 90-day test, or even 60 days if that feels more manageable. For example, if you are deliberating about selling your RV, live for 3 months as if you no longer own it. See what, if anything, you truly miss. Do the same with a second car or a second home. During this test period, also imagine that the money from the sale is already sitting in your retirement account. How does that feeling of financial freedom or security resonate with you? Do you genuinely miss the physical item, or do you instead feel a profound sense of relief and liberation? Most of my clients are genuinely surprised, even shocked, by how freeing it feels to let go of things they once believed they absolutely needed, only to discover they were actually happier without them. Conclusion: optimizing for a fulfilling retirement. Always remember, retirement is not about deprivation, it is fundamentally about optimization. It's about mindfully and intentionally making room for what matters most to you by gracefully letting go of what no longer serves your current life or your future aspirations. The happiest and most content retirees I've had the privilege to work with are rarely the ones who possess the most stuff. Instead, they are the individuals who have masterfully learned the crucial distinction between what they own and what, perhaps unwittingly, owns them. Every single item you choose to keep in your life demands a piece of your precious attention, a portion of your hard-earned money, and a measure of your vital energy. In retirement, these three resources, your attention, your money, and your energy, become your most cherished and finite assets. So, don't squander them on things that might have made perfect sense in your old working life, but simply don't fit into the beautiful, optimized, new life you are building for yourself in retirement. If this video has been helpful and resonated with you, please give it a like so that its message can reach and benefit more people. And for further insights into making your retirement even more fulfilling, be sure to check out our other videos. Take care.